Okay, we're going to start a calibration for a John Deere S-Series combine. And the big thing about these new calibrations is you need to do them at your average ground speed. So if you're going to shell corn at 4 miles an hour, you need to do a calibration at 4 miles an hour. You need to do a calibration at 4.5 miles an hour, and you need to do a calibration at 3.5 miles an hour at a minimum. I would also recommend doing a calibration at 3 miles an hour as well. So basically what you want to do is you want to do your normal ground speed. You can do a couple there, and then you're going to want to do one that's about a 1/2 mile an hour slower, a 1/2 mile an hour faster, and then probably one a mile an hour slower. So you're going to do at least 4 calibrations at different speeds, and then that is going to give you a pretty accurate yield monitor. So what we're going to do now to find those calibrations, we're going to go to our book button, and under our calibrations right there it says yield. So if it doesn't say yield, you'll hit that drop down box right there, and then you'll scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see yield. So we're going to go ahead and select yield. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hit the enter button. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring us to this screen where we're going to either back out, we can add a weight in if we've already done one, or we're going to hit the letter A in the bottom right hand corner there, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to start our calibration. So right now it says load ID is number 1 and our estimated weight is 0. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go cut some wheat, and once we get a load, we're going to come back and weigh it, and then it'll allow us to enter our weight. Now, one thing to keep in mind about this, you don't want to do a lot of turning. You don't want to do a lot of stopping and starting. So opening up the field is not the time to do a calibration. You want to try to make as even and nice and smooth runs all at the same speed to make that calibration as good as it possibly can be. You also don't want to have a lot of waterways or something like that. You want to have nice, even running, so you can get as accurate a calibration as possible. So we're going to go cut a load, and we'll be right back, and we'll show you how to put the weight in. Alright, you can see that the load is counting up. So right now we're in the field and we're cutting wheat, and you can see that the mass is counting up, or the pounds are counting up. So once we get our designated amount of load, now you do need to have around 6,000 pounds to do a successful calibration. It'll let you go down as low as 3,000, but we recommend they're trying to do 6,000. And in a 1/2 mile row, or in decent corn, that shouldn't be a problem at all. I think I figured it up. If you had 180 bushel corn in a 1/4 mile, you could get 6,000 pounds. So anyway, we're going to count up, we're going to get our load done, and then we'll be back. Okay, we've harvested our load, and we've got 7,422 pounds. Now our next step, what we're going to do is we're going to hit that A button for our next step, go to the next page, okay, and it's going to lock it in. Now, what we've done is we've actually saved that load number 1, so now we want to hit that basket button, and it's going to bring up our load. And right now it's got that 7,422 pounds. It's telling us it's 13%. So what we're going to do, we're going to unload this in a weigh wagon, and we're going to put the weight in when we get the scale. Okay, we weighed it on our weigh scale, and it came back 6,654 pounds. So we're going to hit the little box right there. We're going to put in 6654 and hit enter. Now if it's your first load, you're going to want to put a check mark in there, and then you're going to go down and you're going to hit the little triangle in the middle of the screen at the bottom of the page. Now what that's going to do is that's going to save that calibration and update it so that it's going to factor that calibration into the next one that we do. So now we're going to go run another one, and we'll do the exact same thing one more time. Okay, we've done our second load, and you can see our estimated weight is 6,417. So we're going to throw that on the scale here, and we'll report back and see what our actual weight was, and we'll put that in. Now, you noticed on the first one that we were off by 11.5%. Okay, so the combine has adjusted for that, because remember last time our load was 6658. Well, we made basically the same pass, and we're now 6417. So we're really close now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on the scale, and we'll report back with a weight. Okay, we went to the scale, and we were really close this time. we were 6,428 pounds. So what Austin's going to go ahead and put that in there real quick for me. 6,428. Okay. And that came out to basically 0.2%. So we're really, really close. So what we want to do is we want to check mark that one, and we want to uncheck the other one. Okay, and then now we're going to go ahead and hit that triangle at the bottom. So now we're only going to use the calibration that was less than 3%. But the first time you calibrate a combine, you really need to use that first calibration. You need to go ahead and check it, even if it's way off, because it'll be closer than the factory standard number that's in there. So now we've got the one checked. We've got our second calibration in there, and we've got our moisture, and now we're ready to go do our slower and faster runs. But you get the gist of it. But again, main thing is get it calibrated within 3%, and then you want to make sure and do your maximum speed a half a mile an hour slower than your maximum speed, and then a mile an hour slower than your maximum speed. And do that at least, to get at least 3 to 4 calibrations in there, and it should be pretty darn accurate until you have some drastically changing conditions. So that's going to wrap up our calibration video, and we'll see you on the flip side.